Starting stream. Patrice, you are live.
Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Pat and I will be your underwater biologist on today's live dive. Filming it all behind the camera, we have the South African Riyadh and your underwater your surface biologist on the top is Lauren. Yesterday, now this bombing I wanted to come back to because there's just an incredible amount of diversity in such a very small spot. So yesterday I started showing you a couple of things on here, but then we got distracted by a big eagle ray and then multiple stingrays. So I'm going to point out a few things around here. And first thing I wanted to show you all is this star coral here. So we've got here, some of the polyps are retracted and some extended. So I will go into a bit of a description about this in a second. But firstly, I just wanted to say, if you have any questions, please send them in. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, just type the questions and we'll see them. But if you are using Twitter, please use the hashtag diveLIVE so then we can see it. So Lauren, do you want to say hello to everybody and then we'll talk about this coral?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on yet another great dive. It's definitely going to be a great dive today. It's a little bit overcast on the surface, so over to you, Pat. Tell us about this beautiful coral.
Yeah, so just quickly, also my depth right now is 15 meters or 50 feet. So we can see here that this has some sort of tentacles. It's almost like a flower that has opened up. And we can see all of these tentacles sitting out here. So each one of these little warts or lumps or whatever you want to call them is an individual animal called a polyp. Now they come together in these big mat-like colonies for this Montassia coral. And we can see that some are open and some are not. So when they are open, they are actively feeding. So they have these tentacles, there's rings of tentacles around that we can see that will grab food or particles called plankton out of the water and feed it into the mouth that goes into a digestive cavity underneath where the mouth sits. So all of these thousands of animals here all work together to make this one single colony.
So, Pat, Betty is asking, are those fire corals growing on the star coral? And I believe she's referring to the feather duster worms that we can see.
Yes, just here. Or underneath as well, yes. So those two red things, yes, they are horseshoe worms. Or feather duster worms, sorry. The two are very similar. But yes, so they are a type of polychaete worm, or a segmented worm. And this top bit is only a small portion of the worm. The rest is burrowed into the rock. So the projections that we're seeing serve a few functions. They are feeding for them, so they will capture plankton, just like the corals actually. They'll capture plankton in a method of feeding called filter feeding. And then again, they will pass it down to a mouth where it will be taken into a stomach. Now, I think I have spotted an arrow blenny.
Oh, nice. We love an arrow blenny. I hope that was what you were referring to, Betty. It's not fire coral, it was feather duster worms.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we got a perfectly clear visual on this tiny arrow blenny.
So blennies are a very diverse range of fish. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and generally they live in a hole or a burrow or some sort of coverage. But we usually find these little arrow blennies hanging out just a little bit off a coral bombing or a reef. One awesome and hilarious thing about blennies is that they actually have the ability to move their eyes independently. So they can be looking at two completely different directions, yet somehow their brain manages to merge this into one picture. So it's actually quite effective for them, but also pretty hard to comprehend looking in two different directions at once. And it does make for a hilarious photograph if you can get it right.
Well, Spas was just asking for some facts about the arrow blenny, so I think you just covered it there with that awesome piece of information about their eyes. So how small do you think this is, Pat?
Oh, it's tiny. I'd say about 5 centimetres. Or not even that. Probably about 3 centimetres, just over an inch.
Well, Kathy was asking, how do they propel themselves through the water?
It's a bit hard, well, it's very hard to see actually, but they actually use their fins here. They are moving rapidly, although we cannot see it. And we can see that they've got their tail curled around. Now, I'm not sure what function this serves, but they are beating their pectoral fins quite rapidly.
And we've lost sight of it now. So Spas was asking, how good are the eyesight of the blennies?
Well, they are quite good. As I was just saying, they can look in two directions at once. So they have quite keen eyesight. I couldn't comprehend looking one direction with one eye and one with the other eye and making sense of what I'm seeing.
Yep, and most fish have more cones than we do in our eyes and can actually see a wider spectrum of colours than us humans are able to see. And they're also able to see UV light. So I am sure that this applies to most fish and the blennies.
So, right here, it looks like we have ourselves a brittle star. So I'll get out of your way, here we are. Now, Lauren, I know that you've done a bit of reading up on your brittle stars.
Yep, I'm just waiting until we get sight on. Oh, okay, sorry, they're right in front of me the whole time. I actually think there is possibly 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see how many brittle stars there actually are on this sponge?
Yeah, I was looking at it completely. So there's another one here, but yeah, they are actually all over this sponge. Wow. Yeah, so 1, 2, looks like 2, maybe 3 there.
So just to give people an idea, that's the creepy hairy things that we're looking at, those long spiny legs. They actually belong to brittle stars. And brittle stars are echinoderms, so they're classed together with sea stars, although they are not sea stars. They do have the 5 arms attached to a central disc, but they are not grouped together with sea stars. Now, they very often sort of hide out in sponges, and you can see this bright orange thing with the holes in it is a sponge. And all these brittle stars are sort of taking refuge.
It's just past 7 a.m. in the morning here in Grand Cayman, so my guess is that they're winding up for the day after their night out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the way that they move sometimes gives me the heebie-jeebies. But there is actually around 1,800 different species of brittle stars, so they're notoriously difficult to identify, and they can range in size from just a few millimeters to well over several inches. So these ones look quite big. Their legs look very long, at least.
Yeah, so I would say each individual leg is about 10 to 15 centimetres, so 4 to 6 inches.
So they do have tube feet on their underside, like sea stars, but they don't have the suction cups at the end, and they're not used for locomotion. So this is one main difference from them both. They are in fact used for feeding, and they move by wriggling those sort of brittle, spiny, hairy arms.
horror movie sometimes.
Drop an arm, the arms are brittle, as you can imagine, and they can just continue to be on the move and leave the predator alone with their arm in its mouth, and this is called autonomy. So it's kind of like self-amputation, I guess, which is a really, really good method of escaping those predators. The wound does heal and the arm does regrow.
Yes, this is something commonly seen across echinoderms, it's regeneration of limbs. It's also observed in the sea.
Our central discs. I know they're hiding, so it's not going to be easy.
There is one here that we might be able to. Yeah, so just here we are. We can see it's only tiny. It's about a centimetre. Oh, this one's moving as well. There. So in comparison to the arm length, they are very small.
Yeah, I know this is not going to be easy for Rian. The central disc is very small, and attached to it are 5 very spiny, brittle arms. So I think that answers your question, Spas. They have 5 legs. And yes, sea urchins are also echinoderms.
Yes, and the other relation to the other part of the echinoderms, which you wouldn't really think by looking at the sea stars or brittle stars, is actually sea cucumbers. So they are also echinoderms.
So brittle stars don't actually have an anus, so any waste that they produce must come out of the mouth. So it has a double function, if you like, for feeding and getting rid of waste. And generally they reproduce by broadcast spawning, so we refer to this a lot, where they have separate sexes and they will release their gametes, the sperm and the egg, into the water. Getting a beautiful close-up of this sponge and those hairy legs.
Yes, they are quite often found hiding away inside sponges, at least during the day, and even during the night time. They are in close relation with sponges, so it is their preferred home here on the reef.
So another interesting thing about these brittle stars is they do actually have, the mouth has 5 jaws around it. So food goes from the mouth into the esophagus and then to the stomach. So it's a very simple anatomy, and this all takes place in the central disc, but the mouth has 5 jaws. So they are quite good predators. And we do have some comments on what are the yellow fish in the background. So they are fairy basslets. They are sometimes called royal grammas, but here in the Caribbean we call them fairy basslets.
Alright, so moving over here, I found a very interesting sponge. So this is called an icing sponge, and I'm not sure why they do this, but they're only observed around the edges of corals. So sponges are quite often in competition with corals and will bore into them and overgrow them. But this orange sponge here, the icing sponge, only is restricted to the edges of the corals that it settles on. Can you see that?
I can see that. We've got a beautiful coral with this sponge in the edges bordering the coral and a lovely Christmas tree worm in the middle. What a little habitat.
So much diversity here, it's great. So these Christmas tree worms are like the feather duster worms that we saw before. So they are also a polychaete, being a segmented worm. And just like the other ones, these ones have a worm that is burrowed into the coral, and the 2 whorls or radials sticking out the top are the appendages that they use for feeding and also for respiration. So they extract oxygen And also, they have a lot of little photoreceptors. So these aren't actually eyes, but they do sense light. So they will respond to changes in light. Now when they feed, a piece of plankton or whatever they are feeding on will be grasped by one of the tentacles, and it will actually move down around this spiral like a conveyor belt where it'll go to its mouth. And in between the two big Christmas tree bits there, we can see a little semicircle bit sticking out. Now this is called the operculum, and what function it serves is that these Christmas trees can actually retract, so they can be pulled back into the burrow, and this little calcium carbonate circle bit there will cover the top and allow for protection, so a sneaky little butterfly fish can't come along and suck them out.
That's a good point. Spas was asking, do these worms have any symbiosis with the coral?
Yeah, so the coral, the worm, was not symbiosis as such. It doesn't really benefit the coral, but the worm will settle on the coral, and then the coral will actually grow around it, rather than the worm boring into it and damaging it.
Yeah, it's not symbiosis. The worm does just kind of force itself on the coral, and the coral has no choice. So, some questions, Pat. CJ has actually noticed the tunicate in the background there, so well done. I spotted that too.
Yeah, good
and
one.
She's asking, why do the fairy basslets often swim upside down?
Now, that I don't actually know. I think it's for protection, because they tend to sit on the undersides of things, but perhaps you can shed more light on that, Lauren.
Yeah, I believe it's for protection. They only really do it when they're in the safety of a sort of dark crevice or overhang or cave. And a lot of fish will swim upside down, including the squirrel fish, the big eyes, the soldier fish, and it is for protection in the caves. But it does look really bizarre.
Yeah, we're getting a perfect shot of that right now. That's upside down. Purple and yellow fish there are what we're referring to.
So, Pat, Timothy's asking, can sponges suffocate coral?
Can they suffocate coral?
Yeah.
I suppose so. Well, not so much suffocate, but they can overgrow and smother. And then this blocks off their access to oxygen and nutrients and food. And also sunlight. So corals don't only rely on food to get their energy. They also rely on a little algae called zooxanthellae that lives inside of them, and it produces energy from sunlight, much like an algae or a plant. So these require sunlight to make energy, and the coral will benefit by utilising some of the energy and nutrients produced by the algae. So if a sponge is covering and blocking that sunlight, then they're obviously not going to be able to use that for energy. So there is a bit of a competition between sponges and corals.
Sorry about that. We have another question from John, who's asking what's the difference between Christmas tree worms, I'm guessing he says them, so I think it's Christmas tree worms and feather dusters.
Well, there isn't a whole heap of difference. Mainly their shape and their radials. So we can see the Christmas tree worm has two whorls sticking out, whereas the feather duster worm will only have one, and that's a big circle, whereas these are two spirals.
Yes, they are in the group of segmented worms together, but they are different animals, and like Pat mentioned, their appearance is completely different, but their general anatomy is the same.
So let's actually talk about this tunicate for a second. So tunicates look very simple. They actually can be easily mistaken for a sponge because they have these two openings here, just like a sponge. So a sponge has an X-current opening that it uses to blow out the water that it's extracted. But these tunicates are far more evolved. Did you see it?
Yeah, we got it now.
So
very well camouflaged.
That is how we can tell the difference between a tunicate and a sponge, is that tunicates actually have movement. So they control these two openings here. One takes in water and the other one squirts it out. Now, not only this, they are far more evolved from sponges because they have a nervous system, they have a digestive system, they have a circulatory system, and they're actually the closest invertebrate that is related to humans here in the water. And that is because they are actually in the same phylum as us. So we are chordates. Our phylum is chordata, and that is the exact same with this tunicate. So in their larval phase, they have what is called a notochord. And a notochord is like it's not exactly the same as a spine. It's made up of different materials, but it kind of acts as a spine. So that's only in these guys' larval phase. And then they will settle and metamorphosize into this tunicate that we're seeing here.
Yeah, I hope that answered your question, Spaz, and it's spelled Tunicate, tunicate. And Pat, can we have air check, please?
Yeah, sure. So, I am on 120 bar.
Perfect, lots of time.
Yes.
So Love Dogs was asking, do any organisms ever live inside the tunicate like they do with sponges?
Not that I know of. So tunicates can actually control their movement, whereas sponges don't have any way to really expel anything out from inside of them.
Oh, Rianne's getting nice and close inside, and yeah, I don't believe anything does live inside of these animals. And you would not believe that is an animal. It definitely doesn't even look like one, but it is. And well-spotted CJ.
So let's slowly move around the reef, and I'll show you more of this amazing diversity. So this has been a bit invertebrate heavy, which I think is great because there's so many little things, little attached organisms here that really go unnoticed by a lot of divers. I think it's good to point them out and show just how cool all these things are. So in here, I'll move out of the way, Rian, we have what is called stylasterines. So they're these little pink branching corals here, just inside, and so just behind this, yeah, if you get around.
I think we've got hydroids in front of us right now.
Yeah, so Rian, just in here, these pink branching ones in this crevice here. So that's good that you did point those hydroids out though, Lauren, because these stylasterines here are also hydroids. And they look like corals. They're actually very closely related to fire corals, which are also hydroids. And something that all of these hydroids have in common is that they produce an alteration in generations. Now, all this means is that they have two different life cycles, and it is absolutely fascinating. So, they reproduce asexually, but they also reproduce sexually. So the asexual reproduction will lead to these colonies that we're seeing here, these pink organisms. And what this is the polyps that I was talking about earlier of the corals will reproduce and multiply and produce a colony like this. However, once this colony is ready to reproduce, it will actually let off a tiny little jellyfish. So little jellyfish jellyfish and send them off into the water. And these jellyfish have sperm or eggs, depending if they're male or female. Then these jellyfish will release both the sperm and the eggs, which will then fertilise, turn into a larvae, settle, and reproduce asexually again to create another colony.
So Pat, just to interrupt there, I apologise. We did just have some flickering of the camera, so just for your it's flickering in and out.
Yeah, so your audio was